We've been talking about the sinking of the SS Mendi, where President Cyril Ramaphosa was a keynote speaker addressing the 104th commemoration of the death of black South African soldiers who were on a voyage to France in World War I. And of course, let's talk about the significance of the Armed Forces Day, as we are joined on the line by Captain Glovu, who's curator at Insignia Ditsong National Museum of National History. Thank you very much for joining us on our program.
Thank you for having me, and I would like to greet everyone and the listeners. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Why is it important for South Africa to celebrate this day?
You see, this day is very important because if you go back to history, you will see that our South African black troops, they sank during this day, 21 February 1970. And during that day when they sank, they were not alone. They were also having the other white troops. But, you know, it is very, very important to know our South African history. So as the museum, we are currently preserving our South African history, and we want to teach also the public to know the importance of our South African history. Thank you.
When we were taught about the SS Mendi, especially at primary school, there were debates around why black people had to be involved in this war. It was not theirs. They were fighting an enemy that was not theirs. And looking back, having lost their lives, in whose honor?
You see, remember the Union Defense Force, it was having the allies with the British. And then that time, Louis Botha was trying to honor the request from the British, because they were suffering from the labor. They wanted more labor from the side of the allies, like South Africa and other countries that was their allies. So Louis Botha has announced to the parliament and saying he's going to send more than 10,000 native soldiers, which are our black people. So during that time when he sent our black people soldiers, they were not armed, as you have indicated that this war was not our war. They were not allowed to arm, but to do the hard labor, and you know, there are a lot of the things that they were doing them. So that's why you see them. They were there, and they were there as volunteers. They did not regard them as soldiers. They were regarded as volunteers, but they were modern soldiers, because if you look, soldiers like Job Maseko, they were working under the dangerous situations whereby they were carrying the stretchers during the middle of the war, you see. So I would like to correct the history and say that war, in fact, it was South African war, because we were there and representing South Africa as the nation, not only as British.
Yeah, quite sad to be involved in gunfire when you're not having a gun, and you know, to be taken there. Can we clarify?
Yes.
Were they forced to go there? You know, as young people would ask themselves to try and make sense why they should honor these men, and in what sense should they actually be remembered for their role as they were doing hard labor, but then asking so many other missing links there?
You see, most of our South African black troops, when they go there, they were not forced. Even South African Native National Congress, ANC, by that time, during those days, people like Bontate Dube, they have tried to readdress the issue and say, why are you arming our soldiers with guys and nobkiris so that they be in the front line of the war without guns? And then nobody listened to them. But I would like to say today we should readdress South African history, honoring them, knowing that they went there as the brave soldiers, and today we have the monument. And you remember the former President Thabo Mbeki also honored them. I think there are heroes that represent us when we speak about South African wars, even the First World War. That shows that there's a unity and it's a diversity of unity because if you look, it was not only black people who died there, even the white people were there,
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, there's so much to talk about, and we've run out of time. I mean, we also remember 13 South African soldiers who died at the Central African Republic, and also what can be done to honor all fallen heroes within the defense force. But anyway, we thank you so much for taking us through this insightful history and a historical reflection of the armed forces. Thank you so much for your time.